We often overestimate the importance of significant events and underestimate the power of small, consistent actions. However, in reality, it is the tiny changes we make daily that compound over time and lead to extraordinary outcomes. This is the fundamental principle behind atomic habits, small habits that are part of a larger system for self-improvement. Just like atoms are the building blocks of matter, atomic habits are the building blocks of remarkable results. By focusing on making 1% improvements in various aspects of our lives, we can gradually transform our habits and achieve extraordinary things. Consider the analogy of a plane taking off. A slight adjustment of just a few degrees in the plane's trajectory at takeoff can make a difference of hundreds of miles in its final destination. Similarly, small changes in our habits can have a significant impact on our lives over time. The key is to focus on making these small changes consistently. Just as a small amount of interest compounded over time can lead to significant financial growth, the effects of our habits multiply as we repeat them day after day. Atomic habits offer a simple yet powerful framework for understanding how habits work and how we can change them. Instead of focusing on setting ambitious goals, atomic habits encourage us to break down our desired outcomes into small, manageable actions. The core idea is to make these small changes so easy that they become almost automatic. By reducing the friction associated with good habits and increasing the friction associated with bad habits, we can gradually shift our behavior patterns and create lasting change. The power of atomic habits lies in their ability to compound over time. Just as money multiplies through compound interest, the effects of our habits multiply as we repeat them. This compounding effect applies to both positive and negative habits, highlighting the importance of making small positive changes consistently. Moreover, atomic habits emphasize the importance of focusing on our identity rather than just our outcomes. By adopting the mindset of someone who embodies the desired habits, we are more likely to make sustainable changes. At the heart of the Atomic Habits framework are the 4 laws of behavior change, which serve as the foundation for understanding and mastering our daily routines. These laws are cue, craving, response, and reward. They provide a practical framework for understanding how habits are formed and how we can leverage them to our advantage. By breaking down the process into these 4 simple steps, we can gain insight into the mechanics of our behavior. 1. Cue. The cue is the trigger that initiates a behavior. It signals our brain to initiate a particular habit. Cues can be anything from a specific time of day, an emotional state, or a particular location. For example, the smell of freshly brewed coffee can be a cue to start our morning routine. This sensory experience triggers our brain to prepare for the day ahead. 2. Craving. The craving is the motivational force behind a habit. It is the desire for the reward that the habit provides. Cravings are the driving force that compels us to act. In the coffee example, the craving might be the feeling of alertness and focus that caffeine provides. This craving motivates us to take action and make that cup of coffee. 3. Response. The response is the actual habit we perform. It is the action we take in response to the cue and craving. This is the behavior that we engage in to satisfy our craving. This could be the act of making coffee, reaching for our phone, or going for a run. The response is the most tangible part of the habit loop, where we physically do something. And 4. Reward. The reward is the end goal of any habit. It is the satisfying feeling or outcome that we get from performing the habit. Rewards provide positive reinforcement, making us more likely to repeat the behavior. The reward reinforces the habit loop, making us more likely to repeat the behavior in the future. By understanding and manipulating these 4 laws, we can create new habits, break old ones, and ultimately shape our lives in a more intentional and productive way. Section 4. Small changes, remarkable results, real-life examples. The power of atomic habits lies in their ability to create significant changes through small, consistent actions. These tiny habits, when repeated over time, can compound to produce extraordinary outcomes that might seem impossible at first glance. Numerous real-life examples illustrate how tiny improvements can lead to remarkable results over time. These stories serve as powerful reminders that even the smallest actions, when done consistently, can lead to significant transformations. Consider the example of British cycling. This story is a testament to the power of marginal gains and how focusing on small, incremental improvements can lead to monumental success. In the early 2000s, British cycling was a struggling team with little success. They had not won a single Tour de France in their 110-year history and were considered underdogs in the world of competitive cycling. However, when Dave Brailsford took over as performance director, he implemented a philosophy of marginal gains. This approach focused on making small, 1% improvements in every aspect of the team's performance. This involved making 1% improvements in every aspect of the team's performance, from the athlete's nutrition to the weight of their tires. The results were astounding. They looked at everything from the ergonomics of the bike seats to the type of massage gel used for recovery. Within a few years, British cycling became a dominant force in cycling, winning numerous Olympic gold medals and Tour de France titles. Their success was not just a fluke but a result of their relentless focus on continuous improvement. This remarkable turnaround was not the result of any significant overhaul, but rather the accumulation of many small improvements. Each tiny change, seemingly insignificant on its own, contributed to a massive overall improvement. Another example is the story of Jerry Seinfeld's productivity secret. Seinfeld, a renowned comedian and writer, attributes much of his success to a simple yet powerful habit. When asked about his writing process, Seinfeld revealed that he used a simple calendar system to track his progress. This method helped him stay disciplined and consistent with his writing. Every day that he wrote, he would mark a big red X on the calendar. Over time, these red X's formed a chain, a visual representation of his commitment to his craft. His only rule was to not break the chain. This simple rule created a powerful visual cue that motivated him to keep going, even on days when he didn't feel like writing. This simple yet effective strategy helped Seinfeld stay consistent with his writing and produce a remarkable body of work. It shows how small, consistent actions can lead to significant achievements over time. It highlights the power of visual cues and the importance of making habits satisfying. By focusing on small, manageable actions, anyone can achieve their goals and create lasting change. Section 5. The importance of consistency in habit formation. Consistency is key when it comes to building lasting habits. It's not about being perfect, but rather about showing up consistently, even when we don't feel like it. The more we repeat a behavior, the stronger the neural pathways associated with that behavior become. Our brains are wired to automate frequently performed actions. When we repeat a behavior consistently, it becomes ingrained in our subconscious mind, requiring less conscious effort over time. This is why consistency is crucial in the early stages of habit formation. Missing one day might not seem like a big deal, but it can create a slippery slope. When we break the chain of consistency, it becomes easier to justify skipping another day, and soon, the habit is broken. To stay consistent, it's essential to make our habits part of our daily routine. We can do this by anchoring our desired behaviors to existing habits. For example, we can start a new habit of meditating for 5 minutes after brushing our teeth in the morning. By linking the new habit to an existing one, we increase the likelihood of sticking with it. Section 6. Building habits that stick, practical strategies. Building lasting habits requires more than just willpower. It requires a systematic approach that leverages the principles of behavior change. By understanding these principles, we can create a framework that supports our goals and makes it easier to maintain new behaviors over the long term. Here are some practical strategies to make our habits stick. Start small. When we begin with manageable tasks, we set ourselves up for success. The key is to make our new habits so easy that they are almost impossible to fail. This approach helps us build confidence and momentum, which are crucial for long-term success. Instead of trying to meditate for 30 minutes right away, we can start with just 5 minutes and gradually increase the duration over time. This gradual increase makes the habit more sustainable and less daunting. Make it obvious. We are more likely to perform behaviors that are salient and easy to remember. By making our cues visible and frequent, we can ensure that our habits stay top of mind. We can use visual cues such as sticky notes or habit trackers to remind ourselves of our desired habits. These tools serve as constant reminders and help us stay on track. Make it attractive. We are more likely to engage in behaviors that we find enjoyable. By associating our new habits with positive experiences, we can make them more appealing and easier to stick with. We can pair our new habits with activities we already enjoy or reward ourselves for sticking with them. This creates a positive feedback loop that reinforces the behavior. Make it easy. The easier a habit is to perform, the more likely we are to stick with it. By reducing the effort required, we lower the barrier to entry and make it more likely that we will follow through. We can reduce friction by preparing our environment in advance, such as laying out our workout clothes the night before. This simple step can make a big difference in our ability to maintain new habits. Make it satisfying. We are more likely to repeat behaviors that provide us with some form of reward or satisfaction. Celebrating our achievements, no matter how small, can boost our motivation and reinforce the habit. We can track our progress, celebrate small wins, or use accountability partners to make our habits more satisfying. By acknowledging our efforts and sharing our successes, we create a supportive environment that encourages continued growth.